Hi, this is Scott, Kilo Sierra 6, Delta Alpha Yankee, and today I'm doing something a little bit different. I'm out in my truck, out in front of the shop, and wanted to do, like I say, change it up a little bit and actually look at the camera because I got something to say to all of the subscribers and people that are watching this. I hit a couple of important milestones this week, and the first one and most important one is I broke 1,000 subs, which is I'm astonished by that degree of success with the channel. It's still a small, relatively obscure channel, and I don't mind keeping it that way. But I want to really express my heartfelt thanks and gratitude for all of the support that I've received from people that are subscribing, and a lot of the all of the kind words that I get in the comments section, and the engagement that's going on in the comments section. I'm really impressed with that, and I just wanted to extend my heartfelt thanks for the support. It's awesome. It's great, and this is still very much a part-time thing. It's something that I just sort of did on the side because I have a high degree of interest in this kind of stuff, and having a blast with it. I plan to get a little bit more advanced in terms of the editing and the quality or production quality of the videos that I'm going to be presenting, and I've got a few things in the mix, and I want to try to up the tempo on the content just a little bit, but at the same time I don't want to dilute it by just putting out content for the sake of putting out content. I like to research what I'm talking about and look at things from as many angles as possible. But the cool thing is I'm learning from this channel, as well as, in some cases presenting new ideas or new concepts to people. I'm learning just as much from what I'm getting in the comments section. There's some genuinely knowledgeable people out there that are engaging, and I thank you for doing that. It really is appreciated. So once again, thank you. I appreciate it. And let's see how long it takes to get to 2,000. Now, the second milestone event, and the one that I'm particularly tickled about, is my radio channel kind of had a rite of passage moment. Pretty much all the radio channels out there that present anything that isn't just straightforward conventional, traditional ham radio operator material, anybody that's getting even slightly off the path at some point or another will have someone in the comments section declare that what they're doing with amateur radio is not amateur radio. And I had that happen this last video that I did. I had a Remington 870 12 gauge shotgun out on the table, had a plate carrier and a bunch of gear and stuff, and someone just really thought that was just a bit too much, and declared, I don't know if it was in all caps, but it felt like it was in all caps, but I do know there was, I think, 5 exclamation points on the line where he asked when is the invasion, and then declared that what I was doing is not amateur radio. And that's awesome. It lets you know, okay, you get the most flack when you're right over target and all that kind of stuff. And anytime anytime you're involving yourself in anything that's a heresy against traditional stuff, yeah, you're gonna have people coming out of the woodwork. I'm not bothered by it. I really don't care. I mean, look, I've got 3 pretty distinguished careers involving very competitive environments, or involving people that just by virtue of what I was wearing to work each day wanted to kill me on the spot. I'm not bothered too much by trolls in the comment section. It doesn't, but I was tickled by this comment. I genuinely appreciated it, and I pinned it to the top, and I'm going to leave it there forever and a day, just so that ta-da, there's my trophy. Good, I'm official now. I'm one of those guys. But that kind of stuff has been happening quite a lot this week. I follow a couple of Facebook groups that talk about the same kind of stuff that I talk about, and one of them is Radio Preppers, and the guy that runs it, his name's Gil. I think his last name's Grusin. He's over in Europe. I think he's in Belgium. He's also got a YouTube channel that's a really good YouTube channel. The group is called Radio Preppers. He, in fact, is the one that actually, his video that he did on the Yaesu VX6 is the reason I started looking at that radio, and man, he was right. That's an excellent radio. So a really good guy and everything, but his group he's had a couple of hits this week where, I guess you can call them gatekeepers, people that are traditional ham guys that really seem to have a problem with people, going and getting their tech license and buying an HT and getting on the radio and doing what they do. They think, first off, one of the posts, and both of these posts are very similar in that, we're talking a Facebook post, but they go like, 9 to 15 paragraphs long. And if you printed them out, it'd be 2-3 pages of text. And they're really digging in on, like, this one was, I don't know why anyone recommends an HT to a first-time ham radio operator, let alone a cheap Chinese HT. And then declared that, all amateur radio operators, if they get licensed, they should go out and they should get, no less than a 50-watt multi-mode transceiver rig, a big antenna on a mast outside, power supplies, all this kind of stuff, which is good gear to have. I have that gear. I've got that stuff at home. I got that stuff in the truck here. But it's the inverse opposite of what people are actually doing. You got people that are getting their tech license and they go out and they, get a Baofeng or they get a Yaesu FT65 or something like that, and they try it out. And it's not too much of an investment. You're going to find out right away if this is for you. And if it is, we all know you're going to end up before long. You're going to have 4 or 5 HTs. You're going to have a mobile in your vehicle. You're going to probably have another mobile set up for home use at home. Then you're going to get into HF, and then it's going to grow from there. So that's a natural progression. But this person then went on to throw some allusions that, well, you shouldn't use HTs because they give you brain cancer, which is, we all know that's horse shit, because we all know that radio frequency, well, excessive radio frequency at a high wattage can damage your internal organs and cause you problems. It's not cancer causing because it's non-ionizing radiation. But then in the same post, they mentioned, well, they have 3 HTs, and the 3 HTs are Baofengs, which they were just, it was an inconsistent, illogical, contradictory argument. And it was just, as it is in most cases, just somebody who came into the hobby at a certain level and practiced that hobby a certain way. And now you got a bunch of kids running around. I'm 58 years old and I get treated like a 14-year-old playing my rock music too loud. But I'm not doing it their way. I'm not doing it how they think it should be done. So then they just declare that, your operations are invalid because of the way you're acting. You're a jerk. Well, if you're dealing, you will, and I'm sure all of you have at some point or another seen comments like this. I'm going to tell you probably the best practice for these kind of people is just read the comment and move on. I used to get involved in arguing with people over the internet, and I realized before long that in the end, you've wasted their time, you've wasted your time. Nothing has been accomplished. You're not going to present a compelling enough argument that will make them say, oh, I was wrong, and then correct their actions. Instead, they'll just fade away and go hit somebody else. It's just conflict. It's just people lashing out. And when you get to people that are a little older, and a lot of these folks that are doing this are a little older, and I know that because I'm getting up there in years myself, people have a tendency to just be generally pissed off about everything, and they like to lash out, and especially if it's a hobby that they particularly love. And the second argument that I heard, and both of these arguments or both of these hits on the new kids of amateur radio all kind of start the same way, and you can usually tell what's going to happen whenever a post starts with, I've been in amateur radio for 47 years. And it seems like, and then right after that, you just know it's going to go downhill. It's going to be a hit on something you're doing or something someone else is doing that they think is wrong or whatever. And the second one was about how these new kids that are getting involved in amateur radio don't know how to do things. They don't know how to make antennas. They don't know how to make their own gear, blah, blah, blah. And then they used a term I had never heard before, and it's called checkbookers. And apparently checkbookers are people that go out and they just buy quality gear. For instance, I need an antenna. I go buy a quality antenna and I put it on my radio. What I didn't do was, and I buy another quality antenna. By the way, this is a box of cool stuff for the VX6. My VX6 accessory video is coming soon. Everything showed up today. But this guy was lamenting that, these guys just go out and they buy themselves a Baofeng and they program it on the computer and they don't know how to use the radio and they don't know how to make antennas and they don't know how to do this and they don't know how to do that. Well, that's nonsense, because I have a video coming up in a couple of days where I'm going to show you an antenna that I made that not only did I make it, it's actually like production level quality gear. It looks like something you would buy in a package, and it would have a price tag on it. It's well made, it's well constructed, it works, and I'm proud of the end result. Hell, I may even start a company that makes these kind of antennas. But the point is, I take pride in my workmanship. These guys are pissed off because you don't have what looks like a blown up tuba factory hanging off the side of your house with all of your crazy homebrewed antennas that you cooked up that you didn't even bother to make them look halfway presentable. But because you go out and you go, well, hey, I have a need for an antenna on the outside of my house. I can make one. You can, and you should know how to do this stuff at some point. I encourage people to do that, and there's going to be more to follow on that. But to assume that just because someone goes and buys some gear that they have no interest in learning how to make that stuff, maybe they just need a decent antenna on their house, and then they'll experiment with other designs later. But for now, maybe at the very beginning, you go buy a Comet GP1 or a GP6 or something like that, and you put that on the outside of your house. But this guy was just really irritated that these people were using these self-contained radios that they can, and I guess the interesting thing is, I can go buy a Baofeng UV5R for $27. I can charge the thing up, I can program it, I can use a computer, or I can program it from the front panel. It's not that hard. And then they can get on a repeater and they can actually start engaging in the hobby and doing stuff. But that's too easy. And what they're reflecting on is the days back when they had to build their own radios from kits, and they did have to build all this stuff. And then everything forward from that is just people, just throwing money at the problem and not learning not going through the fun and excitement of, winding their own coils and stuff when you just go buy one. What they're not taking into account is that people are working long hours, and that some people, while they are into this hobby, and this is a lot of you that I'm talking to, while you're into radio and it's part of what you do, it might not be all that you do. There's other things that you're involved in, especially when we're talking about incorporating radio into our prep, or incorporating radio into, our gear. Radio is part of the equation. You learn how to operate the radios, you learn how to run them, but maybe you don't want to get so deep into the hobby that you are winding your own coils and stuff. Maybe you just like to, if you need a part, just go buy a part and bolt it on and drive on, because you got other things in your life that you're doing. But for these guys that are deeply invested in the hobby, man, they live, breathe, and eat this stuff. It's their entire life, and they don't understand why other people don't view the hobby the exact same way, and thus they declare anybody that doesn't view the hobby their way is not doing amateur radio. So this is supposed to be a happy video, and it turned into kind of a little mini rant, but I just want to impress upon you guys, look, these dudes, for the most part, they're old, they're getting to the end of things. Let them go shout at the clouds and just do what they do. Arguing with them ain't going to help. You're not going to learn anything. You're not going to get anything out of it. They're not going to get anything out of it. Find something else happy to do with your life. And just let these guys throw their rant out there, let it get 1 or 2 replies, couple thumbs up from the other old timers, and then they're just going to move on down the road and forget it. But getting involved in this constant spiral of hatred and discontent and arguing with people on the internet, it doesn't bring anything positive to the equation, and like I said, it wastes a hell of a lot of time. So with that, I'll bring to a close. It's kind of, my little, I guess we'll call this the Friday Rant series. But once again, thank you very much for all the love and support for the channel. And as I indicated, in a day or two, I will have the VX6 accessory video up and done and ready to go. So we'll talk more about VX6 stuff, and I actually have some other stuff on VX6. And relative to the comment section, has somebody asked about how you cobble up a shortwave antenna for the VX6 to get better reception. I got something coming on that too. So I've got a lot of stuff in the pipe to go with, and then I've also had that follow up to the digital mode series on HTs. So more to follow, but I'll bring it to a close. I've ranted and chatted long enough. You guys have a great day. In fact, have a wonderful day. This is Scott, Kilo Sierra 6, Delta Alpha Yankee in Southwest Visalia. Talk to you later. Bye.